Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, and you are watching Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you guys so much for joining me. To all of you that are new subscribers, thank you so much for finding something valuable that I have to say on my page. So today I wanted to talk about the revictimization. Many people who have been in a narcissistic relationship or coming out of it, you're being re-victimized, whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's with family and friends. Myself as a survivor, and on top of that, as a therapist and a coach, one of the biggest things that I run into all the time is when people come into my office and they don't think that you believe them. Number one, they usually don't know that there's a word for it, narcissist abuse. Or for some, I don't always use that narcissist abuse in a therapeutic setting. I let them talk to me, and then I give them definitions of what they're talking about. Do they do this? Do they do that? What about this? What about that? And usually what happens is a person feels validated. Like many of you guys that come onto, the channels that do provide good information in reference to narcissist abuse, you find that, you feel validated. Like what has happened really happened. Those of you that have been with narcissists, some of you with cerebral, some of you with somatic, some of you with the low-grade narcissist, which is more easier to detect than is maybe a mid-grade to a higher narcissist, especially the covert ones. The covert ones do whatever they possibly can to make sure that they feed those flying monkeys. They become godparents. They give them gifts. They make sure that they cater to them, in order for them to maintain their reputation. But the thing about it is most people don't know what goes on behind closed doors when they get home to you and your children and the family behind closed doors. Then on top of that, if they have really good flying monkeys and they really feed them, take them out to eat, make sure they give them a little money, make sure they let them drive their cars, give them compliments, make them feel important, make them feel relevant, make them feel like they're connected to a superstar, and they'll keep their loyalty to that narcissist. The problem is that a lot of them do know what they're doing behind closed doors. Now, they don't know all the details behind it, but a lot of them are also safeguarding them because they become a part of the crew. So if they're cheating and they have multiple partners and they have all these, other supplies, they're a part of the game. That's just a part of the game. I'm a man, I'm a woman. That's just what we do. And, I'm going to feed you, and this is what we do together. And keep in mind that a lot of the narcissists also make sure that they have secrets about the flying monkeys. When they have secrets about the flying monkeys, it's not that easy to tell on them without telling on themselves. They may have secrets. There may be things that can get them in trouble or could break up their own relationships. So they got these secrets so that narcissist knows that they have these flying monkeys and they got them locked down. Don't ever think that the flying monkey gets away with anything. And the reason why I say that is because the narcissist is abusive all the way around. So whatever they do, when they love bomb, when they trauma bond and everything, they do the same thing to the flying monkeys. And a lot of times the flying monkeys are family and friends. Some of them, are unable to care for themselves, especially during this pandemic. A lot of them couldn't care for themselves. So that narcissist has a little dividends, to make sure they throw, it's sad. They make it rain a little bit, to what we may think is not a lot is a lot to a person that doesn't have. And so they buy their loyalty. They have friends. They're flying monkeys that are friends. They buy their loyalty. Excuse me, guys. But they buy their loyalty. And so and the hardest part is that what went on. What they've done. You've been with them 20, 30, 40 years, 15, 10 years, whatever. Now, these new flying monkeys, these friends that they have may have only known them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. And then when you come out the relationship or when you're trying to speak up to protect yourself, that flying monkey or those people that were connected with the flying monkeys that are connected to that narcissist are quick to say, I know she's lying. I know he's lying because I've known him for a long time. I've known her for a very long time. That is not his or her character. That is not true. That's a lie. And they're lying. And you're insulted. You are so hurt because you're thinking to yourself, you know them as a friend. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors because guess what? That narcissist has already created a smear campaign amongst the flying monkeys that support his minions. Has already created a smear campaign against you. Everything that they, if they're irresponsible with money, if they got to be seen, they've always got to have this. They got to be wearing this kind of clothes. They got to drive this kind of car. They're irresponsible with money. And with the stuff that you have said to them, you're irresponsible with money. You're always trying to show off. You're arrogant. You're vain. You're this. You're that. They'll take all that and take it to the flying monkeys and present it to them as if it's you. you're the one that's irresponsible. You're the one that's always got to have these new clothes. You're the one that's always got to have a new car. Now, for some of them, they make sure you have the new car, not because you need a new car, because of the fact that you are an extension of them. And so if they're driving around on a new car and you have a raggedy car, it looks bad for them because they're somatic and they have to make sure that everybody knows all the stuff that they do for you. And so they do all this stuff for you, but you know, and I know that the stuff that they're doing for you is not even heartfelt. And you can tell that the stuff that they do for you is not even for you. It's to be seen. It's to make sure that they get a whole bunch of accolades from people around when you may have been the one saying, hey, you know, this is not in our budget. We don't need to do this. And they're saying, I got this. Don't worry about it. Then you may be bringing in money just like they're bringing in money, and they'll tell you your money isn't crap. Your money's not doing anything. Your little pennies are not doing anything or paying any bills, but you're the one that's paying all maybe the inside bills or maybe paying the mortgage or whatever. You know that your money is doing something, but they're blowing you off by saying your little money is not doing anything. So all this is happening and nobody knows what this person is saying. Nobody knows what this narcissist is doing to you behind closed doors. Some of them have gotten bold enough where they may have started off on the lower end, where they were physically abusing you to maintain control, but then they found out that maybe physical abuse for you is not effective as is emotional and verbal abuse. And so they find you may be that type of person with your verbal abuse, the emotional and mental abuse is more effective at getting what they want from you as opposed to physically attacking you. They can't get any control of you, but they can get more control out of you when they verbally attack you or physically, verbally attack you or mentally attack you. But no one sees this happening. And so here you go. You may go to therapists. A lot of therapists do not understand narcissist abuse. They don't understand narcissist abuse. They try not to bring it into a clinical setting because it's not clinical. You see what I mean? It's not clinical. Now, as a matter of fact, I just checked. I was doing my continuing education. Therapists that have a license, doctors that have a license, specialists that have a license, by their boards or by their state, have to every 1 to 2 years maintain their license by taking continuing education. Because I am a licensed therapist, every 2 years I have to take, I think it's 36 credited hours of continuing education. I'm also a certified clinical trauma professional, and along with that certification, once a year or once every 2 years, I have to have so many continuing education hours concerning trauma. And so what I do is to satisfy both needs of the license and the certification, I focus a lot on the trauma and trauma training. Now I noticed when I was looking at some of the classes, I noticed that now they are having more classes concerning or more continuing education hours on training concerning the behaviors of those individuals that have narcissistic personality disorder. Those people are cluster B personality disorder and borderline personality. So they're now doing more training for clinicians to provide them education about the behaviors of these type of people. They're talking more about, manipulations and domestic violence and manipulative people and how to get the victim out. So now, because we have put our voice out there, we begin to talk about it. Now they're starting to do more training. Now, does every clinician go and take those classes? Not every clinician is interested in trauma work. That's exhausting. Trauma work is very exhausting, but there are a lot of people now that are going in and they're taking these classes, what make them more effective when it comes to in the clinical setting. So now when people are coming in and they start describing certain behavior, you may not say narcissist abuse, because technically really the term doesn't exist, so to say. But now when they come in and start talking about some of the things that are happening, they may not think narcissist abuse, but now they're thinking cluster B, personality disorder, manipulation. This is how I'm going to work to help them with the manipulation and to try to free them from being a victim. So now they're starting to educate more, but it's up to that therapist, because if the therapist is not really interested in trauma work, they're not really going to go and take the classes. And so, these videos are helping. And you have to remember that a lot of you are being re-victimized. You re-victimized in the courtroom setting, because you can't walk into a courtroom setting and tell the lawyer and the judge that person is a narcissist. Go watch Dr. C's videos and you'll see what a narcissist is. They don't care about it. You're not a clinical professional. And then on top of that, I'm not in there as an expert witness. And even when you come in as an expert witness, you're not coming in as an expert witness to talk about narcissistic personality disorder behavior. And I'm a professional in the NPD, and I'll tell you about these people that have had NPD. That doesn't make any sense. Ethically, that would not be feasible in a court setting because you have to come in with facts. They want facts. How do you know this? You know, where's the documentation? Where are the tests and measurements of this individual that has this? Only thing that I can come in as, or people come in is as a trauma professional and as a victim's advocate to discuss behaviors of those that are perpetrators of domestic violence. And so we take that term narcissist abuse out, or narcissist out, and we begin to describe the behavior. This is the behavior. This is the routine. This is the mode of operation. So you got to see how that works. When you go to court, don't go in there, I said narcissist. Because they're going to think, okay, you're not qualified. You're watching too much television. You have to use the definition. You use domestic violence because that is exactly what it is domestic violence. And so a lot of times you don't feel heard in the court system because you're going in with the wrong verbiage. That's why you have to make sure you have a victim's advocate, a legal advocate to assist you that understands domestic violence. Give them the definition. Take narcissists out for a minute and give them the definition. Most of them work with narcissists all day long. They work with victims of narcissist abuse. They just don't have the verbiage to go with it, but they know when you start describing the behavior, they know what you're talking about. Then some of you go to counseling. Counselors don't know what you're talking about. And then what does most counselors do? Well, you guys need to work it out. Let's get you guys some counseling together. Let's get this communication. You're not communicating effectively, you know, but that narcissist is in there blaming you and smearing your name while you're in there. And you're so exhausted that you begin to display the behavior because they're taking it and making it negative. But nobody asks why. Are you acting like that? You know, what has caused you to begin acting like that? Or a doctor's office, well, not doctor's office, but even, like I said, talking to people. You just need to work going into the church. You need to pray about it more. You need to pray about it more because sometimes people don't have answers, so they get real spooky religious and just pray about it. You haven't prayed about it enough. Okay, but I'm not the only one that's in the relationship. So why am I the only one that's praying? You know, okay, wait a minute. So I'm not trying hard enough, or I'm not doing something hard enough. Well, there's another person in the relationship. You know, we're not communicating well. Well, did you try? Did you try to do this? And I was reading posts on Facebook where they were asking questions in reference to this relationship where this man kind of checked out, whatever. Everything was directed toward the woman. And it was more like, did you try this? Well, you need to stop doing this. Well, maybe you don't do this. Well, maybe you don't. And maybe you're not doing enough. Why is everything her fault? You know, likewise, gentlemen, you know, when people, well, let me think. Do I have a lot of people blaming when they're talking to the man? They're blaming the woman a lot. A lot of times I hear more of the blaming the woman, like you're not trying hard enough, or you're not doing this, you know, enough. But gentlemen, I know that you guys have probably gone through some of the similar things where families like, well, you're not trying enough. You're not doing this enough. You need to be a better man. You need to do this. Everything is not your fault. That's why a lot of you come out and everything is your fault. I wasn't good enough. Everything that you do with a narcissist is never enough. They're a bottomless pit. And no matter what you do, it's never enough. It's never, ever, ever enough. It's never enough. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm checking because I have another appointment to go to. But no matter what it is you do, it'll never be enough. It's like an empty pit, and you continue to put this dirt in an empty pit that will never fill up. A narcissist is a walking empty pit. And the more supply they get, the more fuel they get, the more that they need. And this insatiable appetite would never be filled. And here you are walking around, people are re-victimizing you. And then the older generation don't know what narcissist abuse is. They don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you guys just need to work it out. You know, he just had a hard day. She just, you know, she's in a bad mood. You know, she went through a lot. You see that enabling behavior? You're excusing the behavior. They went through a lot. And some of you guys did the same thing. Well, they went through a lot, so I'm trying to work with them. No, you need to make them accountable for their behavior. Making them accountable for their behavior means you may not be able to confront them. You may have to leave. Some of you have to make that decision. Now, keep in mind, if you guys got children, you can't just jump up and leave because they can get you in court saying that you kidnapped their children. So it's best to find a good legal advocate, a good domestic violence advocate, you know, a lawyer that understands domestic violence, y'all. Find a lawyer that understands high conflict divorces, domestic violence. You know, don't go into, you don't understand domestic violence. You don't understand, no, you don't understand narcissist abuse. Look for one to talk to them. Do you understand high conflict cases? Do you understand, you know, like manipulative behaviors? Do you understand domestic violence? A lot of the programs like the YWCA and a lot of like the domestic violence programs are, how we say, not contracted, but they kind of work with a lot of the lawyers that work with them. Understand some of the judges actually used to sit on boards with the YWCA in certain programs. And so you have to vet your sources, go read, go look them up on the internet. If you're looking for lawyers, go look them up and look at their history. Look where they used to work. I like those judges that used to work for the YWCA or used to sit on their boards, or the judges that were family lawyers that understood, or you know, like I said, you got to vet the source. You got to go look them up and read about them. Just like you're going to do a consultation with them, you ask them questions. Do you understand this? Do you understand that? That's what I did. I used to ask questions, and on behalf of my client. You guys, I'm sorry, I'm just itchy. It's evening. It's the evening time. It's time to come off camera. But hopefully this has helped you guys. You know, I want you guys to know that, yes, some people just don't understand. That's why we're making impact. Trust me, we're making impact. From what I understood, one of my clients sent me some information, let me know, because there was something in the court that the judge uses called when they abuse you in the courtroom, and it's called abusive litigation. And so the judge has a handbook in which, if he thinks, you know, if the lawyer brings it to the attention of the judge, and you ask the judge to protect, you know, the client from abusive litigation, to prevent the narcissist or the abuser to continuously abusing the person in the court, coming up with frivolous, you know, or just any kind of smear campaign, really, you know, coming up, you know, with all sorts of other claims, and bad parent, and not feeding, and abusive, and sexually abusive, and, you know, so they'll use whatever tactic they can. And if the judge sees that, the lawyers can ask, you know, protect the client from abusive litigation, because that's what they do within the courtroom. Now, based off of what I'm understanding, is now been put into law. So the judge does have a handbook, but now it's put into law that, you know, to protect victims of domestic violence from being re-abused and re-victimized in the courtroom. There's certain things that they do that is not, they can pick up on it. They know what they're doing, and they're just going to, you know, prevent them from filing paperwork to make you run out of your money, or, you know, because eventually you run out of money. You can't keep going in there and answering to this and answering to that. And that's the things that they do. And so the judges and the law is trying to protect people in the courtroom. But yes, you know, a lot of you feel re-victimized and have been re-victimized. And so I'm just here to tell you that we believe you. This is a community of survivors, and we believe you. You know, the coach that talks to you is a survivor. So I understand, and I believe you. We believe you. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to support each other. So hopefully this has helped you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so honored. Thank you guys. Make sure you check out my mother's YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler, Your Destiny Helper. She brings it to you from a biblical and spiritual perspective. My big sister comes on Wednesdays, and she comes on along with her mother, Apostle Helen Sadler, and it is My Life is Intentional. I have my little sisters that come on I think it's Saturdays at 7, 8 o'clock, and it is Asia, Simone, and Demetria vibing with, I think it's vibing with Asia, Simone, and Demetria. And that's on Saturdays. And so my other little sister comes on Monday evenings at 6 o'clock, and hers is The Quantum Life. And then Apostle Sadler comes at 7:45 in the morning on Mondays. I'm usually there with her. So you guys on Clubhouse. She's on Clubhouse. And so thank you guys so much for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share the videos. Also, for those of you that are seeking coaching, you're welcome to email me, drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. And I will provide you with rates, as what rates I charge for services. You guys keep posted, because I have the web designers tomorrow. I meet with the web designers so they can design my website. Once I design the website, I'm going to have a section that's free, and then I'm going to have a subscribe channel as well for a nominal fee. And you'll have some extra stuff in there, some interviews and stuff like that I'm going to post in there for you guys. And then I'm also going to be able to start posting my courses, the course creations, the courses that I'm creating. So you guys have the opportunity to go and purchase courses, or when I'm doing the live recordings of the hold on, you guys. When I'm doing the live recording of the courses, I will invite you guys You know, it'll be a lower fee than the regular fee, so you guys can come and join me when I'm doing the live recordings of the courses that I do, and then I'm creating the coaching program for you guys. I haven't really got a name for it yet. I'm thinking of a name, so you guys be patient with me. And also those of you that are looking for counseling. I'm in the state of Washington, so I cannot provide counseling for anyone outside the state of Washington. If you're in the state of Washington, I can provide counseling, but my schedule fills up very, very, very fast, very fast. And remember, I'm doing counseling within the state, and I'm doing coaching in national, international. So my schedule, it fills up very quick. So if you don't grab a slot and you don't pay for that slot right away, a lot of times that's a waiting list. And so I have to filter people through there, you know, to get them in there. So for those of you that want counseling outside the state of Washington, if you go to betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen, listen, I've heard a lot of good things about BetterHelp. A lot of people have connected with counselors that understand narcissist abuse. Ms. Arlene from Canada, she connected with a counselor in Canada, understood narcissist abuse. There are a lot of people that have connected with counselors. Some people, you know, didn't find the program very good, but it's a 10% discount if you use my link, Dr. Carmen Bryant at betterhelp.com. I'm thinking of my email. betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. You click on the link, you get a 10% discount. If you let them know that you're having some financial issues, they'll work with you to try to help you, give you a grant to help you get in there and get some counseling. But if you go to the site itself, you can actually read articles about narcissist abuse and narcissism. So a lot of the counselors are aware of narcissist abuse. Vet them, ask them questions. But nominal fee is a vetted source. I do receive commission off of it, but it's an excellent program because now they're asking us to come and be on the platform to provide counseling. So now they're trying to get more counselors in because this program is really great. I'm telling you, it's a good program. It's a vetted source. I give it a thumbs up because a lot of people have used it and they feel they say that emotionally they're doing so much better. And some of you guys need counseling before you need coaching. And so thank you once again. I do have a book. I don't have it in here around me. It's back there in the closet. But I have a book. It's called Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. It is on Barnes & Noble and it is on Amazon. My big sister just came out with a book, The Aristocratic Woman. And I got to go look and see, make sure that's the correct title. Oh, you guys got to get it. Listen, you got to get it. Get that book. Thank you guys so much once again. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening and go be great.